Hey there, sports history fans. This is John Bozica from the PFRA podcast. Are you looking for that perfect, unique gift for your sports-loving child or grandchild? Or as you'll find out, it's great for parents and grandparents as well. Well, I'll tell you what, you're in luck, because this episode is brought to you by Racket, the ultimate device for the ultimate fan. It's perfect for any time you need to make some noise. Racket combines a compact 7-inch megaphone, 8 powerful adjustable LED lights, noisemakers, an insert you can design, and it's fully customizable to match your team's colors. The coolest thing about this product is the founder. J.J. Abram was the ultimate cheer dad, following his daughter's cheer group around the country. He saw parents using all sorts of crazy contraptions to make some noise for their kids, and then he had that aha moment. He thought, why not combine all of these thingamajigs into an all-in-one compact device for the ultimate fan? JJ and his team worked 3 years on developing version after version, finally landing on Racket. That's R-A-K-I-T, so you can make some noise and cheer and be part of the action. So get out there and let's get loud. Bring a Racket to your next game or competition to cheer on your favorite team or athlete. You can customize your Racket with your own logos, drawings, and names. Get beads to match your team's colors. Flashing lights add the excitement. Are you ready to make a Racket? Be part of the game. Each Racket comes with 1 Racket megaphone, 1 lanyard to keep a hold of this thing, 2 scratch-resistant bead packs, 1 clear and 1 color of your choice, and a 10-pack of customizable self-adhesive inserts, currently on sale for $24.99. To pick up your Racket today, head to myracket.com. That's myracket.com. Now get out there and make some noise.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
The Rose Bowl. The game that inspired the college football bowl season has a long and storied history. The stadium itself is 100 years old, and in celebration of it, Pigskin Dispatch is assembling some of the top historians and authors to share the memories, people, and events that make the granddaddy of them all the special game that it is. Enjoy this Rose Bowl memory from pigskindispatch.com.
Hello, my football friends. This is Darren Hayes of PigskinDispatch.com. Welcome once again to the Pig Pen, your portal to Rose Bowl history, as well as great football history. And we are celebrating the Rose Bowl history because of 100 years of the Rose Bowl Stadium. And we're trying to cover each and every Rose Bowl, tell you a little bit about the game, some of the great players, coaches, and who won it, as well as many other aspects of great Rose Bowl history. And we want to make sure before we get started here with these 3 great Rose Bowl games that happened in the mid-'80s, the 71st through 73rd Rose Bowls, that you know about our newsletter. Real easy to sign up for. You can get it each and every day in your email inbox. Simply go to the show notes of this very podcast, sign up for email subscription. It's our newsletter. It's totally free. You can cancel anytime, and I think you'll really enjoy it. Some great things coming out of Pigskin Dispatch, JerseyDispatch.com, Orville Mulligan Sports Writer, and as well as SportsHistoryNetwork.com. So make sure you sign up. 2 easy questions to answer. Now, let's start off with our 1980 Rose Bowl. It was the 71st edition of the New Year's Day Classic called the Rose Bowl. It was played between the USC Trojans of the Pacific 10 Conference and the Ohio State Buckeyes of the Big Ten Conference, held on January 1st, 1985. Ted Tollner was the head coach of the Trojans that 1984 season, as they produced a 9-3 record and ranked 18th in the Associated Press polls. For the Buckeyes, it was head coach Earl Bruce, who once again led the team from Columbus as they fashioned a 9-3 slate themselves on the season. USC in the game went up 17-6 early going into the half. And besides a Jordan field goal, a touchdown was on a Joe Cornier 3-yard pass to Tim Green. The second score of the Trojans was a Timmy Ware 19-yard pass from Green that finished in the end zone. The teams traded long field goals in the third quarter, and with just 7:30 left on the clock, the Ohio State Buckeyes made it a very interesting game when Chris Carter, the great receiver that ended up going in and playing for the Vikings, hauled in an 18-yard touchdown reception from quarterback Mike Tomczak of the Chicago Bears and Pittsburgh Steelers fame. And then Tomczak ended up running in the two-point conversion to make the scoreboard read 20-17 USC. It's a three-point game. That was the final score, as neither team could move into scoring opportunity for the balance of the contest. Defense proved out, and the difference in the game was that USC used an aggressive team defense. You see, Southern Cal encouraged the Buckeyes to throw the ball. This strategy caused 3 Mike Tomczak interceptions, while he threw 37 times in the game. Very uncanny for an Ohio State team. I don't think Ohio State threw 37 times in a year when Woody Hayes was the coach here, but he was long gone. And as USC defenders waited in the secondary, they just jumped the routes that Tomczak was throwing to. The kickers for both teams had banner days. Ohio State kicker Rich Spangler scored a Rose Bowl record 52-yard field goal during the game, and USC kicker Steve Jordan had 2 51-yard field goals. Tim Green and Jack Del Rio shared the Rose Bowl Most Outstanding Player Awards for that game in that 20-17 Southern Cal win. The next season, 1986, it was the 72nd edition of the Rose Bowl, played on January 1st, 1986, and it had the Iowa Hawkeyes of Coach Hayden Fry meeting up with the UCLA Bruins. Iowa was in the top 5 of the polls all season and entered the game as a 4.5-point favorites. The Iowa stars that set the tone that season were Mike Haight, Chuck Long, and Ronnie Harmon. Terry Donahue, he was the coach of UCLA, and he put together a roster for the Bruins, including David Norrie, Gaston Green, and Mel Farr Jr. The game's storyline may have come sort of as a surprise to many, especially when UCLA tailback Gaston Green, who had started but left the game early with a pulled hamstring. He was their stud back. Well, he was replaced by a freshman by the name of Eric Ball. And Ball proved to be a very capable replacement for Green, as he ran for 227 yards and tied a modern Rose Bowl record by scoring 4 rushing touchdowns in this game. Also, Matt Stevens was the UCLA quarterback that year, and serving in place of a benched David Norrie. These 2 players were major pieces to the route that UCLA put on. The Bruins ran away with this one. 45-28 was the final score, and running back Eric Ball was named the player of the game. That takes us to the 1987 Rose Bowl. It was the 73rd game played in Pasadena as part of the New Year celebration, and the Arizona State Sun Devils, champions of the Pacific 10 Conference, were invited to play their first ever Rose Bowl to play against the Big Ten champions, the Michigan Wolverines. Head coach John Cooper guided ASU to a 9-1-1 record, and their setbacks from perfection were a loss at rival Arizona and a tie with Washington State. The Wolverines still had Bo Schembechler at the helm, and his squad posted an 11-1 record on the season. Michigan's only 1986 loss was to Iowa. The gameplay went along these lines. The first quarter saw Michigan get on the board first with a Jamie Morris 18-yard run to pay dirt and a 2-point conversion with Gerald White connecting on a pass from place kicker Mike Gillette. Second quarter saw Arizona State respond with a Kent Bostrom's 37-yard field goal, and later in the quarter, the Wolverines quarterback Jim Harbaugh ran on a score from 2 yards out with a Gillette PAT kick. ASU went on a scoring tear right before the half as Bostrom booted a 27-yard field goal, and later, Sun Devil Bruce Hill caught a 4-yard touchdown pass from quarterback Jeff Van Raphorst. Now, the subsequent Bostrom point after kick made it, put an extra point on there, and at the half, Michigan led by the score of 15-13. The second half saw a stingy Devil defense scoring only from ASU. Hill on a 1-yard pass from Van Raphorst and a late Bostrom 25-yard field goal to make the final score Arizona State 22, Michigan 15. Arizona State quarterback Jeff Van Raphorst was named the player of the game, and Michigan's arch rival must have taken notice of this because Coach Cooper defeating the Wolverines, as they later hired him to be the head man of the Buckeyes. and that's how history gets made. And that is your Rose Bowl history for these great games of 1985, 86, and 87. We're continuing on and continuing to count till we get to game day, trying to cover each and every one of these 108 Rose Bowls that's already been played. We hope you'll join us each and every day, and sometimes multiple times a day as we go to do this. And we have some great guests coming up to talk about some of these Rose Bowls and different aspects of the Rose Bowl as well. So stay tuned and stay with us. Until tomorrow, everybody, have a great Gridiron Day. That's all the football history we have today, folks. Join us back tomorrow for more of your football history. We invite you to check out our website, pigskindispatch.com, not only to see the daily football history, but to experience positive football with our many articles on the good people of the game, as well as our own football comic strip, Cleat Marks Comics. Pigskindispatch.com is also on social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all of your positive football news and history. Special thanks to the talents of Mike and Gene Monroe, as well as Jason Neff for letting us use their music during our podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com. Hey there, sports history fan. This is Arnie Chapman, a.k.a. the Football History Dude, and I hope that you enjoyed this recent episode presented by the Sports History Network and were able to learn some good old-fashioned sports history knowledge nuggets. I started the Sports History Network back in 2020 with the mission to help podcasters find a community of like-minded sports history nerds, as well as helping aspiring podcasters to start their own shows. We have a little bit over 30 shows on the network right now covering all sorts of sports history, but as far as I'm concerned, we're just at the toothpick in the ocean moment, that can't even figure it out because there's so much more coming. We wanted to create the ultimate headquarters for sports yesteryear, starting with Podcast Network and our website, but we're going to continue to move into other mediums as well. And here's the cool part, because we want you to be part of our team. So if you're interested in starting your own podcast, or maybe being a guest on one of our shows, or who knows, maybe even writing an article for us over on the website. Seriously, all you gotta do is reach out to us on the contact page over at sportshistorynetwork.com. You can be as technologically savvy as a Neanderthal tapping on a stone trying to figure out this whole hieroglyphics thing back in the day. Again, it doesn't matter, because even if you don't understand the whole podcast space, we have a production team that can pretty much help you out with doing everything. All you gotta do, head over to sportshistorynetwork.com, head to the contact page, fill it out. That message goes right to me, and I'll reach out to you as soon as I can. But for now, dude, I'm through if you're through.